happy Tuesday. Oh my gosh, some interesting things in the news. First and foremost, we talked about this briefly, Adam, on Sunday
We did,
because it
yeah.
happened
We broke
while
the
we were
news.
streaming. Yes, happened while we were streaming. Joe Biden pardons Hunter Biden. Oh my God. And the
Yeah, what's
meltdown, the explosion. Everyone's arguing about it.
yeah, what's up with that? Why is
I
everyone
know.
so upset? I mean,
Yeah,
geez.
I
It's
know,
his
right?
son.
Exactly,
Of
exactly.
course he's gonna do that, right?
So I want to read before. I mean, I briefly said on Sunday. I don't know if you weighed in. I said that I don't support the action, obviously, because I understand that why you'd want to do it as father, but I don't support the action. I'm all in favor of
Mhm.
investigations and getting the bottom of things and all that stuff. But what's your take before we kind of jump into it a little bit? What's your take on it?
Well, I'm not sure I said much on Sunday because I didn't know much about it. Like, the most interesting thing about it now is the fact that the pardon goes back to, like, 2014, exactly when
Yes,
he joined the
charisma,
Burisma crew,
and it
right?
goes up to this year too, which is that's another interesting aspect of it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little sus. Like, a little bit suspicious,
A
don't
little
you think?
suspicious.
A little bit?
It's a little bit,
Just a
just a
little
tiny
bit? Is
bit.
it like, why couldn't you just go, "Oh, let's just go back to 2010," an even year? Like,
How about just like to when he was born? Okay, the day he was born, he was granted immunity. He's like Achilles, but for legal federal investigations.
is there a limit?
Right.
Because I kinda wondered if he could do that. I was like, "What is actually the limitations of this pardon?"
I don't think there's any limitations. I think you do whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So let me read the statement from Joe here, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. This was Joe said this the other day. He said, "Today, I signed a pardon for my son Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making. And I kept my word, even as I watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted without
Oh,
aggravating
the irony.
factors."
Moment of
Yeah, I
silence for
know.
the irony.
I know. Well, listen, when he said not interfere with the Justice Department, he means like, yeah, you can investigate all you want and bring charges all you want. I mean, I could like yoink it away at the last second, but
Uh,
without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely on how they filled out a gun form. It was kind of interesting that in the statement he actually lays out like the argument, which I mean, if that's true, that is a fair argument, at least for the gun charges specifically.
yeah, of course, but I
Yeah.
mean, everyone wants the future charges that are
Yeah,
obviously
I
gonna
know
have to do with
that's yeah,
Burisma.
right. That's a different issue. But those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties are typically given non-criminal resolutions.
Oh,
It
thank
is
goodness.
clear that Hunter it's clear that Hunter was treated differently. The charges in his cases came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed to by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom. Well, that was kind of BS though. That plea deal was bizarre because that was plea deal didn't have like way extended time frame too. People were like, whoa, what's going on here?
I wasn't aware of what the plea deal was, so.
They tried to like sneak it in, and then it was kind of people were like, oh,
Oh, yeah, they tried to make it yeah, they tried to give him huge concessions and the judge slapped
yeah,
it down. I know about that, but
like
I
a
don't know
wide berth,
specifically what the concessions were.
right? Well,
You can
yeah,
never prosecute about future things. I think that was, like,
you're
the
right. It was
gist of it,
yes, you're right. It was something weird like that. So, hmm.
and everyone was like, "What? I mean, we're gonna go hog wild on his corruption."
Let's see. No reasonable person who No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion that Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe we'll stop here. Enough is enough. Come on, man. For my entire career, I have followed a simple principle: just tell the American people the truth.
Oh,
I
that
mean,
stings. That stings,
I
especially with all the clips going
mean,
around of him saying, "Oh, yeah, of course, I'm not gonna pardon Hunter."
Yeah, and then also the whole like, oh, he's totally cognitively, fine, right?
Right.
And it's like, oh, we've always told the truth. It's like,
I
I don't know
mean,
about
that
that one,
one
partner.
is well,
I
obviously
mean, maybe
Joe
he
Biden.
told the truth
Yeah,
because he didn't think so, but
yeah.
like no one else.
This is where intentions matter. This is
Mhm.
where what one knows makes a difference.
Mhm.
I have to be consistent, right?
Right.
If I'm going to give Trump all the leeway with the crazy shit he believes, but it's much easier to imagine that Joe Biden thought he was cognitively fine to run for president than,
Mhm.
I mean, obviously,
Right.
you're not aware of your own cognitive decline as clearly. Well, maybe you are, right? You can tell if you have memory issues and whatnot.
Uh, I I thought my understanding is that usually when you have those issues, you're the last person to either know or accept
Okay.
it, which so
So then he probably didn't know. But he
yeah, maybe.
definitely, yeah, I don't, the first time he said that he wasn't going to pardon Hunter, I mean, I'm sure he got a phone call from Hunter immediately. It was like, what the
What
fuck
the
are you
hell, Dad?
talking about?
What the hell?
Of course you're going to pardon me.
Uh, for my entire career, I follow the simple principle: just tell the American people the truth. They'll be fair-minded. Here's the truth: I believe in the justice system. Dot dot dot. But as I
Yeah.
have wrestled with this,
Asterisk.
yeah, I know, asterisk. But as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process. Oh, there you go, and has led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend with no sense in delaying it further, I hope Americans will understand why a father would come to this decision. And
I
that's
don't,
the end
do
of the
other
statement.
systems have the pardon system? Because I'm thinking about this situation, what we always talk about from the dictator's handbook perspective, that if leaders are going to be pursued and incarcerated or killed just from losing power, they're incentivized to stay in power by any means necessary, even corrupt means, right?
Mhm.
This pardon system is kind of a release valve for that because a leader, if people are going after their family surreptitiously, right? This obviously, I think there might be some there with this situation. So this situation is a bit different than that. But if in a legitimate case where people are just targeting a politician's family for purely political reasons and the person has not done anything wrong, doesn't the pardon kind of avoid that trap, that incentive trap?
I'm not sure I'm following.
So look, if in these like 10 pot dictatorships,
Right.
right? These
Yeah.
authoritarian regimes, the
They pardon for
authoritarian
money
wants to
or
wants
favor.
to stay in power
Right.
because if he loses power, whoever gains power after him is going to come after him, perceiving him as a threat.
Yes.
So they're going
Yes.
to kill
Right.
or incarcerate him, right?
Right.
Obviously, Putin famously has incarcerated anyone who challenges his
And
power,
killed.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that could happen in a democratic situation, like it is happening. Obviously, I think a lot of the legal matters revolving Trump are completely, trumped up to go after
Douche.
him. Yeah, yeah. I tried to think of another word, but so
That's a
bogus.
simulation. Is Trump's
Yeah,
whole name the simulation winking at us?
it is. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but the pardon system, right,
Mhm.
allows leaders to leave office with some sort of peace of mind, right? Like without the pardon system, Biden would be worried about people, Trump and the Trump administration going after his family, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So now, look, now he doesn't have to worry about that really.
Yeah, but well, I mean, in America, I don't know if presidents have ever pardoned themselves. I mean, this was sort of the issue with Trump. Would
Nixon
he be
pardoned it. Nixon worked out a deal with
his
the
VP?
guy
Yeah,
taking
but he
over to
didn't.
pardon him. Yeah.
Right, but he didn't pardon himself.
I can't.
Um.
Yeah, and it's a question. It's an open question whether or not presidents can pardon themselves. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that was the intention
yeah,
when
that's
it
what
was
I was wondering.
right when the power was crafted. I probably not. I mean, it might
Maybe it
function that
was
way.
though. I don't know. I don't know the history of. I don't know why
Mm,
they included the
it,
pardon, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. I know that most countries, because I was looking into it, most countries do have some kind of pardon like system that the executive could, give people. So
right.
to grant upon people.
Well, I could see a purpose for it. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah. No, there.
obviously,
Yeah.
this avoids a terrible incentive, which it's difficult to talk about this because obviously you get a bunch of self-righteous moralizers coming in and saying, "Oh my God, you're arguing that politicians should be above the law." Nobody's fucking arguing that, okay? In a perfect world, politicians should be should be thrown in jail for their corrupt acts.
Hmm.
So, but it is, you don't want to create that societal incentive for people in power, people who do make the decisions, to do what Putin's doing, right? Stay in power for his entire life, which is bad. But
Hmm.
anyway, you're obviously reading something.
I
What's
was
going
reading,
on?
trying to find the origin of the pardon in
Oh,
America.
really? Huh,
So it
interesting.
says the origin of the pardon power in the United States Constitution can be found in English history, known previously as the prerogative of mercy. It first appeared during the reign of King Ine of Wessex in the 7th century. Although abuses of the pardon power increased over time, leading to limitations on it, pardon power persisted through the American colonial period. Alexander Hamilton introduced the concept of a pardon power, so you can thank Hamilton for that, at the Constitutional Convention. There's debate about whether Congress should have a role in the pardon power, with the Senate approving presidential pardons. Delegates also debated whether treason should be excluded from pardonable offenses. However, the final result was an expansive power for the president, Article 2, the strongest example of constitutional executive unilateralism. The framers of the Constitution deliberated separately the judicial function of government from the pardon power, therefore obviating concern from the English jurist William Blackstone from the power of judging and pardoning should not be delegated to the same person or entity. Oh, I guess that's the question about, can you pardon yourself? There's
Well,
also a
I
reason that
guess they talked about that, but it
they
never was
did.
settled. They left it
Right.
like open ended,
Right.
and
They
the
also reason that
Supreme
pardoning,
Court's never weighed in. So,
not yet. They also, well, I guess we'll see maybe next 4 years. They also reason that pardoning subordinates for the treason would subject the president to threats of impeachment and removal from office. Oh, so they're basically saying like, well, if the president pardons someone too badly, they'll get, impeached. So it's okay, bro.
hmm. Well, everyone always pardons right as they're leaving office. So
Hmm.
nobody. I mean, I guess there's a lot of pardons doled out, but it's not unheard of for presidents to pardon someone in the middle of their term, depending upon the situation.
Right.
Yeah. I think Blagojevich got pardoned before the end of his term. So,
Hmm.
or the end of
Interesting.
Trump's term.
They're saying George Washington pardoned the people involved with the Whiskey Rebellion. So there you go.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
So, first president threw some pardons in
he
there.
threw some pardons out there. Yeah. So on this statement, there's kind of an interesting thing in the statement, or I should say, an interesting lack of thing in the statement, which is nowhere in the statement does he say that he's doing this because well, he kind of implies it, or maybe he says it kind of vaguely. He doesn't specifically say that the reason he's granting this pardon to his son is because he believes or knows that Trump will use the Justice Department to go after his son. Do you think that it would be better for him to spell that out like specifically and say like I'm doing this because I don't trust the Trump administration?
No, it's better to leave it vague.
Mm,
Everyone knows what he means, and you want to be hopeful that
right.
the
I see.
Justice Department isn't going to be weaponized against by the Trump administration. Come on, we've all
Mm.
got our fingers crossed here, right? You
Well,
don't want to
it's
make
funny.
those accusations.
Here's a okay. Should Biden, as like a final FU, like last day in office, he gives like blanket pardons to everyone that Trump would possibly want to go after, like Liz Cheney, Shifty Schiff, all of those people. He just gives them pardons. It was like, no, screw you. They're all pardoned.
Wow. Wow. That would
That'd be
be a
kind of
terrible
funny.
move just because it would. I mean, obviously, what do you think from this Hunter Biden pardon? Like I do think he has political cover because there is like the threat that the Trump administration is going to go after Hunter is not zero. We both agree on that, I'm sure.
It's pretty well, it's funny because we had this conversation before the election and we were like, or no, it was after election, and we were like, okay, is Trump going to try to be the unity, actually like just I'm going to focus on my second term and doing good things, or is he going to be the revenge? I'm going to go after the people who wronged me candidate.
The first
And
one.
I said the second one, and
Ah,
you said the first one,
well, I'm
and
an
then it's
optimist.
yeah, you're an optimist. And then it's like, okay, then he first puts Matt, tries to get Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, right? And that's revenge, revenge, revenge. And then that kind of got nixed. And now it's Pam Bondi, who we'll see what that, even though Pam Bondi did lead a cheer of saying lock Hillary up, we'll see what direction that goes in. But now, who we'll talk about later, the Kash Patel announcement for FBI director, who is like massively all in favor of going after people and has very explicitly said that he wants to go after private citizens, the media, Democrat government officials, and all these other things.
Yeah, Hunter Biden's literally on his list, right?
Yes, yeah, and he has like a list I
A
sent
hit
you.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, the hit list I sent you. So it kind of, you're right, it kind of does lean into the trying to give, or not trying to, but lean into giving Biden some amount of leeway of saying, oh, there seemed to be strong evidence he's going to go after Hunter.
Yeah, the Kash Patel nomination gives plenty of political cover to Biden to the point where, look, I was thinking, why wouldn't you just wait? Like,
Why announce it so early?
yeah, yeah.
That's a good
Well, I
question. What is the
guess I
point of
don't,
announcing it?
do they need, I guess he wants to give the impression that he's hitting the ground running, and he has announced so many nominations early that it would stand out that, like, oh, he's waiting on FBI. I wonder why. I wonder what's going on here. Why is FBI, right? But I
Yeah.
look, yeah, I think obviously Biden has plenty of political cover to do this. It does, like, you immediately think, you can't not think that this pardon isn't covering up some kind of corruption, though. And just to go back to your original question about why not grant pardons to Shifty Shift, everybody
Liz
else,
Cheney.
right?
Yeah.
Liz Cheney, yeah, exactly. Because it does kind of put a spotlight and say, "Oh, there's some corruption here," right? I mean,
Right.
it's
Does
impossible
it?
to avoid. I
I
think
don't,
it
because
does. Yeah, I
it's
think it
like,
does.
because it's interesting because you have Trump has given so many pardons to so many people involved with his administration,
But all
and
those people were
and
wrongly accused
well, exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, Steve Bannon, anyone that has any sort of like,
of
January 6th
not.
attachment or something, right? And so, like, if the Trump stands say like, oh, well, all those people were wrongly accused, so it's ultra mega base for Trump to pardon all those people. And if Biden pardoned all those people, you'd have the same situation. Like when Trump pardons all those people, everyone on the left goes, corruption. This is example. This is proof of corruption. Trump's corrupt. And the people right go, oh, base, 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 base. And I wonder if it's just going to be like the opposite. If Biden just pardons all these people that are anti-Trump people that Trump wants to go after, the left is going to be like, oh, so based. Oh, final fu. Bring up the jank gif of the middle fingers. Like that's Biden on his way out the door, right? And then everyone on the right's going to be like, corrupt. Ah! They're all going to be screaming about corruption. It's like, okay, I mean, does it politically make a difference?
Yeah, it is a real tribalism sides thing. The people that Trump pardoned, I think, I mean, there's some corruption there, obviously. Bannon
Yeah.
is not completely innocent. Who's the real slippery guy? I can't remember. He pardoned some guy that is super, super slippery. So yeah.
What are you talking about? I mean, he pardoned Jared Kushner's dad, which
Oh yeah,
had
look,
nothing
that
to
was
do with
obvious.
anything like political. That was
That was like
obviously just a favor. Yeah. Like,
I've read somewhere, and I can't remember what book it was, that
mhm.
like selling pardons is big business, and it's kind of like an open secret that this happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that he probably didn't have to buy that one since it was, his son-in-law's dad.
Well, I mean, he had to marry his daughter. That's some
Oh,
form of payment, isn't it
I
not?
mean, is that really like a payment?
He
Is
got
it
the
like a
friend. He got the
that feels like a
family
gift?
deal.
What do you mean? Vodka's pretty hot.
He got the family deal.
Okay, he got the family 50%
The
off
the
family.
family discount.
I brought up so on Patel's hit list. Hunter Biden is not on it, but Joe Biden is on it. So
Oh, it is? Oh, really?
just to be
Interesting.
clear, yeah.
Okay, I thought Hunter would definitely be on there. So,
No, no,
I mean,
no.
Bill Barr's on there. Hunter's not on there.
Bill Barr's on there.
Hunter, you're
It's funny
going
because
after the fat man.
we'll talk about this in a second. Bill Barr is on Patel's hit list because in his Trump's first term, he wanted to make Kash Patel the deputy director to the FBI.
Mhm.
And I
And Bill
don't know,
Barr told him no?
I don't, well, I'm sorry, I don't know if it was the FBI or CIA. It was one of those, the FBI or CIA. And Bill Barr said, "Over my dead body."
Oh, really?
Yes, he was
Wow.
very much against it.
Okay.
So
So it's a
that's what.
personal slight.
And yeah, I think he wanted to, and at some point he wanted to make him either deputy director or the director of the CIA. And like the number two person of CIA said they would resign if Trump did that. And then Trump pulled back on doing
They're
it.
they're doing the legalist thing too. Everyone's talking about how, well, even if the Senate won't confirm, they could put up someone that the Senate would confirm, and the
Mhm.
the deputy is not a confirmation position, so he could just put someone the Senate confirms, and then someone.
Fire them so that the deputy becomes the number
That's
one.
it. Yeah, exactly.
That would be,
Yeah.
I mean, he could do that. That would look, I think that would look real shitty.
Of
I,
course, look, it would look
yeah,
shitty, but that whatever zany guy he wanted, like if he pulls that move, oh my God.
that'd be
It's
pretty
just
gross.
that would be the signal that he's out for blood. That would
Of
definitely be the
course.
signal that the
Of course.
unity train is
And
has
off the
crashed.
track, it's gone into the ravine.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, go back
Oh.
to the pardon for a second. So,
But look, you don't think
yeah.
Trump would pull that move?
Um,
I mean, he's
I mean,
completely
hmm,
anti doing anything by the book.
would he do that?
I mean, he'd do it just to make it just to look baller.
I
Of
don't know.
course
Like,
Trump would do that. Get out of here.
it depends how he, like, in his first term, he wouldn't do that. His first term, like as I even the example I brought forth, he wanted to make him the CIA guy, and the number two CIA said, "If you do that, I'll resign," and Trump pulled back. So Trump was obviously, he was not doing things when people were threatening to resign or that would make him look extra super bad and stuff. I don't know if he's gonna have a different attitude in the second term or not.
Look,
Just be like have like a more like screw it attitude. Is my last term. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
first of all, when all that shit happened around the January 6th stuff, like he had lost the election. Like his power was waning.
Right.
Right now he's got 4 years out in front of him. And
Mm.
it's do or die now. These are his last 4 years. It's weird that I'm making this argument and you're
I
not.
know. I know. I mean, he could, and I'm not sure that he would really suffer any
He
penalty
would not suffer
from the
anything. His base
Republicans at
would
all.
fucking love it. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? They'd
Well,
be
the
like, "Holy
people,
shit."
the online people would love it, and the normie people wouldn't know or care or understand it. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I
it
don't think
wouldn't
it would
even be a
matter.
blip.
Mm.
How the mainstream media would be all over it, but it's difficult to tell if they could turn it into some sort of Charlottesville type event because it is kind of in the weeds. Everyone's like, "Well, who cares? Who cares who runs the FBI?"
Well, I listen. I'll say this. I hope he does it. I hope. I hope Trump does it. I hope. Okay, here's what I want. I want Trump to put. I want them to affirm Matt Gaetz. I want them to affirm Kash Patel. I want them. I want Trump to get like his dream team of all the craziest fucking people in every high level of government, just so that we'll actually see who was right. Was the left right when they were screaming that Trump was going to do all this unhinged, insane stuff, or was the right correct when they were saying, "Oh, Trump is just going to be like normal and do base things"? Or cool things and help the country. I just want to see who's correct. So just, I would say, if I'm in the Senate, just let Trump do whatever he wants. I'm like pure accelerationist. Just let Trump do whatever he
Oh
wants,
my
and just we'll
god.
see what happens.
Cash Patel is a level of insanity. I just
you,
that guy
you
he'll
don't feel
do
comfortable with
anything.
that?
Everything I've seen of him just makes me think. I mean, it's crazy. It's
Look,
crazy.
just because Kash Patel supports selling supplements that say that they'll reverse the COVID vaccine doesn't mean that
Oh
he's
my
crazy
god.
at.
Oh my god. That's like a level of paranoia that he has. It's scary.
Yes. Okay, but wait, because we're going to talk a lot about Cash Patel. Let's finish with talking about the pardon because we keep drifting.
Okay,
Because I know it's
okay.
like a very, like Cash Patel's like fun because it's so weird and wacky. But on the
All
pardon
right,
thing,
the pardon.
right.
Yes.
So Anna actually had Anna and the Young Turks had
Jake.
actually like a really
Yeah.
good video about this that I think I mostly agree with her position, which is that she was saying, yeah, like the charges seem trumped up, ha ha ha, on the gun stuff and on the tax stuff.
Yeah.
And parting him from him's like, okay, like it's obviously still like kind of corrupt because it's his dad. But then you say, well, but if he's only in that position because of his dad, is it like, do those two levels of corruption, like a positive and negative, do they cancel each other out? And I'd say, okay, maybe that's fine. So I don't really have a problem with that. But then, as you were saying, it's like, okay, but the blanket pardon from everything else, like from 2014 up till now, that's where it's very highly suspect. Because you're kind of like, okay, even
What did I
if,
miss? What's he
yeah, because
hiding from me?
right, because like even if theoretically we grant that the whole Burisma scheme shenanigans was like real, even though there's zero evidence whatsoever, but people talking about
Yet.
that forever. Okay, yeah, yeah. Even if we get like grant that that is hypothetically true, and that I mean, I believe obviously. Let me be clear because people will take this and go wow with it. Obviously, Hunter Biden was hired by Burisma not for any sort of expertise that he had, but purely because they thought that he had the ear of his father. That's like 100% obvious. Anyone denying that's fucking stupid.
Oh, and
Okay,
he that was his pitch to be on the board, obviously.
yes,
So,
right. And that was even, I forget what his name was, his business, Hunter Biden's business partner who was involved with all that, kind of explicitly testified that that was part of the appeal or the main
yes.
appeal of hiring him.
Plenty of
Um,
evidence that the
right.
Burisma people asked Hunter to get on the phone with his dad and
And do
like
stuff.
work something out. Yeah.
Yes. Well, he was actually supposed to get the, uh, so the
Burisma,
president,
head of Burisma's passport back, and they
yes,
told him pound sand.
the head of Burisma, he could not travel to the US legally. And Hunter was assigned with like getting that so that he could come to the U.S. legally, get his passport or visa or whatever the fuck it's called,
Right,
back. And the U.S. State Department told him the f off, and they did grant it to him. So, which
right.
I think is kind of hilarious. But that does seem to be like Hunter Biden's career, trajectory is people hiring him because they think he'll get his dad to do something, and then he's completely unable to get his dad to do anything. So
Right.
so yeah, Hunter Biden obviously was hired for that corrupt reason. What there's no evidence of is that there's no evidence, and there seems to be a lot of counter evidence that Joe Biden did anything that Hunter Biden wanted him to do. And
The
so
the passport thing is not decisive though, obviously. Like if
no,
if
but it's
if
still
his
counter
dad is going to
evidence.
do something, he's probably the phone call is something like this is like something tiny. Look, I need to do something big. I can't do every little thing for you people. Obviously, this is a massive conflict of interest.
Well,
So,
yeah, but you would think there's a lot more like in terms of raising red flags to get
mhm.
caught, giving back the president of Burisma's ability to visit the US is like so lower on the list of like raising the red flag than, threatening to withhold the backing of, some kind of loan until they fire the prosecutor looking at like that's so much more like higher up on the list of corruption that it seems weird that Joe Biden would go along with that, but he wouldn't go along with just getting the fucking president of Burisma's passport back.
Yeah, but my argument is that if they want to keep it a secret because it
Mhm.
is actual corruption, that you don't want to do
They do
every
the big
little
thing, but not
thing.
the
Yeah,
little thing.
they do the big
Oh, I
thing.
see. I
Yes, they
see.
do, but
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
want a lot of little things lying out there that are like
Mm,
breadcrumbs to lead
I
you to the
see.
big thing. Yeah, exactly.
Mm,
So,
okay. I'm
yeah.
still skeptical. I don't buy that
Well, no,
theory. But anyway,
until something surfaces, you have
we
every
don't
right
know.
to be skeptical.
Mhm.
Exactly. But
That's
it's a
true.
good thing there's a pardon. So,
Right,
but
right. No, so but anyway, my whole point is so even if theoretically like all that was true and Joe Biden was corruptly doing things for Hunter Biden, all this stuff, like would you even need the like what's the point of pardoning Hunter Biden? Because I think what he's doing was corrupt with Burisma, but I don't know if it was illegal necessarily. Like what was anything he was doing illegal in that regards? Unless it's like a like he's was maybe he wasn't registered as like a foreign lobbyist. Kind of,
well,
there's that whole thing with Mike Flynn where they were trying to get him because he wasn't technically registered as a foreign lobbyist and all that stuff.
whether it's legal or not is a question that people are forced to spend millions and millions of dollars answering, though. That's the point of the
So
pardon.
you're saying that the pardon saves taxpayer money, that Joe Biden is trying to save our tax money from being wasted. That's what you're saying.
Nobody cares about the tax money. He wants
Oh,
to
okay.
save Hunter Biden legal fees.
Oh, I
Hunter
gotcha. I
Biden is the
gotcha.
one that's going to have to file answers to all these litigation inquiries, right?
Okay, that's fair. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So
You're right.
that's the purpose of the pardon.
Right. Well, then, so that's like the past thing. So I don't support any of that stuff because I am curious. I would like more investigation of that because I think every more investigation shows how
Well, let me
innocent Joe
ask,
Biden is in the Burisma stuff. But
let me ask you because is Does this mean that he can't be investigated, or can they still go ahead and investigate him? They just can't. They can't file
Wow.
litigation against him.
Well,
They
that's
can't
a
sue.
very good question. And that was instantly what I was wondering about. And I was trying to actually find out that information is that
Right.
can can someone who's been pardoned still be investigated? Now I think I was trying to find articles about this and I couldn't, nothing seemed very definitive. This would be my guess. I don't know if he can be investigated. Hunter Biden can be directly investigated by the FBI because that'd be like an organization that would, trying to charge you with something. But he can still be investigated by Congress because Congress doesn't have the like they're not charging you with anything. So
Right.
this
Yeah.
so a pardon might protect you from a law enforcement FBI investigation, but it wouldn't protect you from congressional investigation.
Like they gave a lot of the January 6th people that testified for the January 6th committee immunity, right? So that they
Yes.
could say whatever they want. So this
Right,
is
but they
kind of
have
the
to
same situation.
well, they have to do that with like the FBI has or not the FBI, the DOJ has to agree to do that action. Like the Congress
Right.
can't just do it on their own. I don't believe they can. So
It's okay. Because that's everyone just wants to know, and they want to be able to say, "Oh yeah, they're corrupt as fuck."
mhm.
I mean, some people want him thrown in jail, but people would rather just say, "Oh look, these are Democrats, constantly corruption, constantly corrupt."
There is an interesting question, and I don't know if we have a legal answer to it. Some people are posing that since Hunter Biden is pardoned, does he lose the ability to use the Fifth Amendment to protect himself from answering questions to Congress, anything related to the time period that he has a pardon? Because he can't, since he's pardoned, he can't incriminate himself. So does he lose the ability to plead the Fifth in those situations?
I want to know that.
I don't. I'm very
It's
curious about
still an
that.
open
So that
question,
could be
though.
interesting.
Yeah.
But how interesting would that be if like there's this weird, monkey's paw reversal where he gets the pardon, but then getting the pardon makes him have to testify to Congress and say something that's damaging to the Biden reputation
Or Biden.
or what's Biden overall. So okay, so that's in the past, but then in the future thing, also that's interesting is that the pardon goes up to 2024 because you're like, well, what crime did Hunter do recently that you need protection up to 2024? And I was like, we know the answer to that.
Hmm.
Okay. Remember that
The
magic
cocaine in the
bag of
White House.
cocaine in the White House
Look, I
that no
said
one
that.
hoped for? Yeah, okay. Or cop to, I should say.
I said that they were going to try to pin it on Kamala to get a better VP. So
Oh, there you go. But it turned out maybe it was
Hunter
Hunter.
brought it. We all know Hunter brought it in, right?
Right, right.
But the plan was to pin it on Kamala.
That
Yeah.
was the plan originally, but then Biden was mad about being pushed out of office, so he chose Kamala as like a
No,
final
no, no,
FU
no.
to the Democrats, right?
The plan was Hunter was going to bring it in. They were going to pin it on Kamala, but then
Hmm.
Hunter said, "Well, look, this is perfectly good cocaine. I better do a little bit
He
while
did.
I'm
Oh no, he put his DNA all over. Like
while
Hunter, you fool!
while I'm here."
He couldn't
Yeah,
resist.
exactly.
He couldn't resist.
Exactly. So he's in the bathroom coming out, he's got powder all over his nose.
Right.
And then somebody told him, "What the fuck? Your prints are all over this
Oh
now."
my
The
God,
plan is
this is like a perfect episode of like Arrested Development or Curb Your
of
Enthusiasm or
course, yes.
something.
They're
I
like,
want
"This
to see
plan
this.
is fucked.
Yes.
What do we do?" They're like, "Just get rid of it." So he
Just
throws it away.
right. Cocaine. It cut to cocaine found in a White House garbage can.
He throws
Like,
it
no,
away
you're like,
in
don't throw
the
it away in the White House, you idiot. What the fuck?
garbage can right next to the Oval Office desk.
Yes. Oh my God. Some child like finds it. They're like, look, mom, candy.
Look at this powdered sugar for my donuts.
Yeah, exactly. Like, stop. Oh, but I could see this so clearly. The episode
I
of like
know. Look,
Leapers. I
this
was
is
like,
exactly how it happened. I'm telling you.
oh my God.
Don't look into it.
That is true. That is exactly what's happened. Okay.
Right, yeah. So he's off the hook for that, obviously.
Right,
He got
right.
pardoned.
Yeah, so okay. So I guess the put a summary on it. Uh Pardoning for the gun charges, tax stuff, I think that's fine, whatever. He paid the taxes back and whatever. But the broad pardon I don't support. It seems kind of ridiculous.
Right.
So I do think it's funny, like, oh my God, all the The fainting couches. I mean, I guess it's the way politics goes. The people on the right who are doing like this fainting couch, like, oh my God, this is the most corrupt thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And they faint on the little fainting couch. Meanwhile, they like will completely defend every horribly corrupt thing Donald Trump ever does. Every single
Mhm.
person he pardons, every elector scheme that he's in favor of. That all, that all gets hand waved away. But this is the bridge too far. The
Right.
Democrats, they've lost their moral high ground at him. I'm like, oh God.
Robbie said that though.
I know it
We
was
like
ridiculous. I
Robbie.
just thought it was ridiculous. I
I
thought it was
thought you'd love
ridiculous.
that.
I thought I was like I rolled my first of all,
Robbie got super angry about this.
it's
Robbie on the
so
Hill.
lame. I know. I thought it was so first of all, when the Democrats don't have like the higher moral ground as like a party, okay. I think that's the
They
idea
don't.
that's
No
just
one
so
has a
lame.
high moral ground
Exactly.
at this point.
Right.
What are we talking
No,
about
of
here?
course. There's no like no
High
party
moral
has a
ground?
higher moral
What?
ground. No. Right. You have to look at each case or each position in time individually. So that's number one. But number two, yeah, it's ridiculous to compare this to these other any of these other things that Trump's been accused of or actually been doing, and no one has a problem with that whatsoever. So
Does this tip Biden into the worst one-term president of all time, or worst ex-president of all time? Does he take Jimmy
for
Carter's
this,
title?
I
Yeah.
don't think so. I mean, I don't know enough about Jimmy Carter's presidency, and I'd have to really do a deep dive into all the economic claims about Biden's presidency to see because like if you're on the left, you're like, oh my God, the Inflation Reduction Act saved America, blah blah. If you're on the right, you're like, oh, it made inflation worse. I feel like I'd have to really investigate that claim to have a strong feeling about whether Joe Biden was the best or worst or middle one-term president.
The thing I found interesting was I was listening to some of these mainstream media reports,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the people talking about Joe Biden's legacy were they constantly said one-term president. Like they kept calling him a one-term president, and I was
It's like
like,
them saying bitch.
I
This
know
bitch, Joe
exactly.
Biden.
I know. Isn't it true though? Isn't it
It
true?
is
Isn't that
true.
like
It
a
is
little
true.
dig? Like, why do they
It
need to
is.
throw that in there
It's
when
so
they're
funny.
talking about the legacy of Joe Biden is focused on his legacy. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to say focused on his legacy as a one-term president
Right,
because that's
right.
basically saying what legacy?
They keep rubbing it in his face. Yeah.
Yeah, look. But that's why, and I asked you specifically, does it tip it in that direction? I think obviously it
Well,
does tip it in that direction.
yeah, yeah, no, you're
Whether
correct.
or
I
not
mean, well,
it's gonna
Bi-
stick, who knows?
Biden's legacy, like, okay, like Biden's legacy is already in the trash can. It's
Oh, of
going to be,
course.
right?
Yeah.
But like in terms of
And
bad
he's got
things,
no cognitive ability to fix it.
right. In terms of bad things, like you have obviously the complete mishandling of the border is a massive strike against Biden. The withdrawal from Afghanistan being a disaster is a complete
Endorsing Kamala Harris.
endorsing Kamala Harris is a complete strike against him. Though interesting, when I was reading about a lot of the Kash Patel stuff, apparently Trump originally was going to try to force the Pentagon to pull out at the end of his term in December, and then the Pentagon pushed back, and Trump decided to go back on that. Now, how that would have
Pull
been
out of
very interesting.
Afghanistan.
Yes, the force to
Oh
pull out in
yeah.
Afghanistan during his term, the end of his
In
term.
all these books that he's monomaniacally focused on getting out of the Middle East over and over and over again. So
Right.
yeah, I could see him wanting to do that. That
But it's interesting because that I mean I'm trying to remember, I don't remember what the month was, but it was like pretty close. Like they didn't really have a lot of time to do it if they had gone through with it. So it would have been probably even more disastrous than Biden's withdrawal. But anyway, so Biden's withdrawal, that's a big X against him. And then the biggest X against him in terms of legacy. And you're right, maybe he will go down as the worst one. I mean, he will go down as the worst one-term presidency in modern times just because of the cognitive decline issue, plus, you know, refusing to drop out of the race. Like history will look at it as like, oh, Biden is the person that essentially allowed Trump to win again because of his mishandling of not dropping out sooner.
blame the white guy.
Blame the white guy. There you go.
Well, that's
Unless Trump
they're
is
not
a
going to
great,
blame
yeah,
they're not going to blame Kamala obviously for obvious reasons. But
probably not.
go ahead,
Kamala
continue.
will get like a little footnote because everyone will forget about her in 4 years. Everyone forgets about the people that run for president and then lose, right?
Yeah.
Who
Yes.
knows? Who remembers Bob Dole or
Michael Dukakis.
Michael Dukakis or Mitt Romney and these people? But
Mondale. Remember Mondale?
yeah, oh God,
Mondale had a Geraldine Ferraro, a first female vice president. That was
wow,
back when they
okay,
got the identity politics train rolling.
there you go. But unless Trump, of course, has some amazing second term, then people will like praise Biden for his for his inept handling that allowed Trump to usher into the golden age. But I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
So
He's going down as terrible. All
yeah,
right, you want
I think in the grand scheme of things, this pardoning Hunter will be in terms of like like hurting his legacy. I think this will be a minor footnote that will get kind of thrown onto the list, but not really heavily talked about.
so the thing we'll be looking for is if they're still going to do investigations, if Hunter is forced to testify. I do
Right.
think if there is any kind of corruption, whether or not people are charged, I do think Trump is incentivized to find it. So we'll see what
Mhm.
happens.
We'll see. Okay, let me read some supers and we'll go to the next story. Kash Patel, which is very interesting. Tom waiting for $5 says fun fact: the Obamas hate the Bidens because Michelle and Hunter's ex-wife are best friends, and she hates how the Bidens treated her after the divorce. Yeah, I've heard that before. This is Hunter's ex-wife. Yeah, I'd heard that before.
Hmm. Wow.
Oshazi for $5 says early hot take on this pardon. Meh.
Right.
There you
Yeah.
go.
This is, I mean, that is a hot take,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. Saying for $5 says people focusing on attempting to prove corruption with individuals when instead people should be attempting to prove how trustworthy an individual is. I mean, what's the difference?
Right. How do you
Not sure.
prove trustworthiness anyway?
Well, usually proving someone's corrupt is supposed to be an example of saying, like showing that they're not trustworthy, right? Like that's generally the way it's
Right.
perceived.
Yeah.
So,
But building trust takes long periods of time and
hmm,
is built up in subtle ways that
maybe.
I'm not sure you can. I mean, obviously, if somebody takes a bribe or something, that's
Right.
strong evidence that they're corrupt. It just seems
Right.
like the evidence level for trustworthiness is
Mm-hmm.
probably harder to achieve.
Fondue for $2 says pro gun Joe Downs all eventually come around. There you go. Look, I mean, it's funny if Joe made this like a big like Second Amendment thing, no one would believe it. So,
Right.
CS
Wouldn't
Pappy
help
$5
him.
says based father sacrificing what little bit of good reputation he had left in the service of him, his only remaining son. You go, Joe. Wow. There you go.
Wow.
Mr. Middleman for $2 says, was there anything to Burisma or was it all smoke? I mean, from my investigations or looking into information, it's what I said. They hired Hunter completely for corrupt reasons, but there's zero evidence that anything came of it. In fact, there's a lot of counter evidence that they didn't get anything from Hunter whatsoever. So I'd say it's mostly smoke. A Libertarian Stat Squad for $2 says 2014 seems oddly specific. Wonder what happened there. Yeah, exactly. Garl for 31 months. Thanks so much. Says Adam does not have TDSL. What is the L stand?
I'm not
TDSL?
sure.
I don't know what that means. I mean, there's Trump derangement syndrome. What is the L? Or Trump dick sucking syndrome?
That
I don't
must
know.
be it.
But what's the L? I don't. Anyway, he's only married to his fourth turnip crackpot game theory. He is not affiliated with us.
He's this is me.
I'm not
I'm
sure.
married to fourth turning,
Fourth
obviously.
turnip. It said turnip.
Fourth turning crackpot game theory. He's
Oh,
not
is that
affiliated.
supposed to be a turning? It's not a turnip. Okay.
Are you guys saying that you have TDSL, whatever that is? Oh,
I don't know.
anyway.
Anyway,
Look,
uh,
I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not a like a MAGA person. I'm hoping for the best, obviously, just in the spirit of democracy. So
hmm,
I think it was who was it? I think it was John Wayne who said when Kennedy was elected, I didn't vote for him, but I hope he's a good president and he does a good job. Oh, I think he said but he's my president. I hope he does a good job, which is
okay.
I mean that's unheard of today. Nobody's going to say
Right.
that, right?
Right.
So, but I believe in that. You know, if
Sure.
hopefully Trump does. He's my president. I hope he does a good job, right?
It's true.
I'll
should always
take
do that.
the. I mean, the not my president stuff is kind of soy anyway. So, but whatever.
Alex S for $5 says took the wife to see Wicked. I can honestly say it was a good movie. However, just like the play, I did not get a BJ afterwards. South Park lied. Shaking my head. Oh, that's
Wow.
I mean, that should be like you have to bargain beforehand. Okay.
I
You
thought it
enter
was
the
just
room. You enter the room now, like, like that scene from Doctor Strange. The Mamu, I've come to bargain. You hold the
this
wicket tickets in one hand.
this is a South Park meme where the only reason people go to Broadway plays is so that they can get BJ's,
No,
right?
the meme is a very funny episode. The meme is that all the people that write the plays, they
Mhm.
put subtle brainwashing messages into
Oh,
them to
wow.
make the women give their husbands blowjobs.
Wow.
So
That's great.
it's a very funny
That's
episode.
good for marketing too.
Highly recommend.
That's
Karen,
manufacturing consent, right?
there you go. Karen Man 502 for $2 says Biden should pardon January 6th or steal Trump's slender. That's funny. Michael Struckman for $5 says, "What's the point of being president if you can't pardon your son?" There you go. State for $2 says, "Look who all of a sudden doesn't trust the state." There you go. I mean, I think when people talk about trusting the state, it's always, do they trust the person in charge, right? JMac, Arthur got fired. Thank you so much. Daddy JMac with the $50 says, "Let the record show that if, when I become president, and if my children are convicted of felons, I shall not pardon them. Part of loving your children is letting them take responsibility for their actions. He who spares the rod hates the child." Wow, look at that.
Wow. Yeah.
Hard love from the School of Hard Knocks from Daddy JMac. I
It just
appreciate it.
it completely I guess. Like I said, he's got a lot of political cover in this environment, but it screams that there's something going on in my estimation because if you're in a position of power, you'd be telling your son, "Look, you're not going to soil the family name.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do things to stay away of just the appearance of corruption, right?"
Right.
Yeah.
Telgor for 2 hours says, "Did you hear that Elon Musk might buy Wizards of the Coast?" I didn't hear that, but that'd be pretty ultra base if he did. It's got to be cheaper than buying Twitter, so I hope he does. Stuck for $5 says, "I heard that this decision was made at a family dinner. Joe mumbled to Hunter in a way he does. Hunter says, 'Pardon me,' and Joe said, 'Okay, son.'" It's funny.
That's good.
That's good. I like that. Saint for 2 hours says, "This sounds like America bad." What does? I'm not sure what that was in relation to.
Yeah.
Kristen Brandon for $2 says, our politics is so screwed. Oh, our politics is so screwed at this point. There you go.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Brian
Don't
for
forget the
$5 says,
fourth turnip.
yeah, right. Brian for $5 says, "If Gates couldn't get through the nomination process, Cash has no chance of getting through either." Um, you
That's my
probably,
thought as well. Yeah.
yeah, you're probably correct. It's funny. There's been some senators that have, supported it already, including Senator Ted Cruz. But we all know Ted Cruz is quick to run out to whore himself out to Trump, even though Trump insulted his family. So
Politically, it is better for Trump to nominate these hugely popular MAGA people and let the Senate shoot it down than just not to nominate them at all.
That's a
Because
good point.
then
Yeah.
he can always say, look, it's those rhino Republicans that stopped us, right? I gave you Gates, I gave you Kash Patel, but they stopped us in our tracks.
Right,
So,
right.
but if he
That is a
never
good point.
nominates him, he can't say that, right?
Right. But like, why
Then
didn't you
he's
nominate this
immediately
guy?
cucking to that Senate.
That's true.
He's
That's a good
playing their
point.
game. But just remember,
What?
he could just put Kash Patel in the deputy position and fire whoever he nominates. So
That'd be pretty wild.
ultimately, he's a deep state insider if he doesn't do that.
There you go. Saying for another $5 says, "Normal is now using lawfare and denying partisan actors in mythical deep states. Normal is now saying if they're innocent, they shouldn't worry." I'm not sure I understand that one. Libertarian Sasquatch for 2 hours says, "Zero evidence gets pardoned." Come on. What do you, I mean, are you saying that every single person that Trump pardoned is guilty because they were pardoned? Libertarian Sasquatch? Is that your accusation?
Of
Chad
course.
Summer for €2 says, "Cash Patel was correct about Russiagate. He's great." Oh, well, we'll dive into that in a second. Lethal Fan for $5 says, "Hunter may run into the Fifth Amendment issue. His immunity prevents self-incrimination, contempt charges if he refuses to testify or answer questions." Oh, there you go. It's kind of interesting.
We'll see. I'd like that. God, can you imagine Hunter just opening up on the stand? What if he
Uh,
implicates the big guy?
right.
What happens
Same for
then?
same for $2 says this sort of capping is why I get called feds. People, well, first of all, I think it's funny if someone calls me and him feds, but I think Satan should rechange his name to King of Vague Posting. Satan,
Mhm.
he just vague posts a lot of things. So,
What does it mean to be a Fed?
um, well, it's supposed to mean that you work for the federal government, but I
Hmm.
guess it gets translated into like if you say anything against the mythical deep state that I don't like, then you're a Fed. So, the Golden Pepper for 10 Canadian says, "quote Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober. So, who was it that left their cocaine at the White House then? Kamanamana or the big guy? I mean, listen, it was Hunter. Come on. We all know it was Hunter.
Of course.
You just didn't tell dad. Ryan Wolf for $10 says, you guys going to look into any of the drama with Dev? It's been all over my Twitter the past couple of days. If not, I understand since it's a comedy show, not a drama channel. God bless. I literally have no clue.
What
It's
is the
just,
drama?
yeah,
I
all I
want. I mean, I
see,
want to know. I'm not above drama.
right. I'm not like, if you want to explain it to me, like you can explain it to me. All I see is I'll scroll on Twitter and I see Dev and Aiden arguing about like their falling out. And I like read it and I don't know what they're talking about because it's all like you did this, and it's all like you need to understand 10 years of lore to understand the context of anything they're discussing. So I just kind of my eyes glaze over when I see
I.
Dev and
It
Aiden
did give me.
arguing.
Look, there was something good that came out of that
Hmm.
because I see it too. Obviously, I see the two
Right.
of them going at it on Twitter. I thought to myself, "Oh my god, this is so fucking lame." And this is exactly what I was doing with Connor. Oh man, I'm never gonna do that again.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, right.
Yeah. I was
You
like,
saw yourself. Yeah,
this is
right.
stupid. This is dumb.
It's got to
It's
move on
better just to
sometimes.
block the person and just fucking ignore them.
Right. Rex Factum for 15 months says Trump should pardon Joe, the big guy, Biden for the same period of time so he gets to be the unity guy and he doesn't have to investigate anything. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Brian,
Oh, look
uh,
at that.
Byron Robinson, thanks so much for the $20, Byron. Says a few bucks for Sitch to take out the new girl and a few bucks for Adam to grab an 8. Thanks for the show. Well, thank you.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Thank
I
you.
don't I don't condone drugs. Art
Mhm.
Timus for
Is
10
that an eight
euros.
ball of cocaine or
That's what
is
I was
that
wondering. Yeah,
is that marijuana? Which
that's what I
one
was
do I get to
wondering.
choose? Whatever one I want.
Art
I'm too
Time.
old for that stuff. Come on,
That's
guys.
true. Art Timos for 10 euros says here, Sitch, take these 10 euros and give 10% to the big guy, Adam. Listen, I give well, first of all, YouTube
The big
takes
guy here makes 50%. So
yeah, YouTube takes 30%, and then the remaining 70% we split it.
right.
Okay.
Isn't that kind of weird? YouTube is our silent partner.
YouTube is our big guy. That's true. Got a plague for $2 says Hunter Ricada 2028, make America Coke again. I like it. That's pretty good.
Hmm.
Good one. Bob Dahl, not Bob Dole, for $5 says, do you think if Trump runs as a Republican VP and they win, the president steps down, Trump would have a third term? That's interesting. I don't know. First of all, I think that's like not going to happen at all, but I have no.
That can't be the
I'm
case.
assuming that's not legal. Like I'm assuming if
Right.
some situation like that would happen, it would have to just skip them automatically and go to the president of the House or the
And
leader of
there's
the
no
House.
way Trump is going to be vice president after being like a two-term president.
No, he's not going to want to because that would be a huge status downgrade.
Right.
Um, and I mean he's going to be real old by that time anyway. Too.
This is interesting because a lot of presidents they do like Jimmy Carter went out there and worked actively on his legacy, doing a bunch of Habitat for Humanity stuff and trying to solve various different world problems. But like Biden doesn't have that ability. Like what can Biden go out there and do? He can barely fucking tie his shoes.
Right, right.
He can't do any of that stuff. So, but I assume Trump, after being a two-term president, is gonna. I mean, he's gonna be active in politics for his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
He's they'll.
You think so? You think he's
Yeah,
gonna be
look, all
active in
Trump fucking loves to campaign. Of course, he's going to be out there campaigning. He's going to be out there campaigning for JD Vance when JD Vance runs in
Mm.
2028. Bet me $500, bitch.
No, first of all, calm down. Secondly, no, I could definitely envision that like if Vance runs or when Vance runs, if he had a good relationship with Trump, that Trump would want to be at rallies and do all the
Of
rally stuff.
course.
Right. But I don't know if I don't think he's going to want to be jetting around the country, nonstop the way he's been doing when he was, running for president. I think it's very tiring, especially on an old man like Trump. So
I just look.
you think he is? You think it's going to be like
Of
the same?
course. Of
Okay.
course.
We'll see.
Yes.
We shall see.
He's going to want to be all over the place. He
Right.
loves that stuff. He loves it. He loves it. The only reason he ran for president so he could be in front of a crowd like 24/7.
Okay. Kirk Dean for $5 says, pardoning your child is base dad move. Horrible precedent to set, but I trade legacy for the good of my son. Falling on the coke-colored sword.
Oh, wow.
That's
Can
funny.
that get you high before you die, or
I guess that's a good
is
question.
it?
And then the
Maybe you
exact
could save yourself.
right. And then it's funny, the exact opposite end of the spectrum. Arithmus for $2 says, as someone with a relative who had similar criminal issues as Hunter Biden, whose parents constantly bailed him out and pulled strings to get him as lenient treatment as possible, this pardon disgusts me. So we got both spectrums covered here.
Right.
Okay. Why don't you sell people the comic for a second? I'll be AFK.
Okay. Well, we're doing pretty good with the comic, actually. We are up to, let's see here, $83,170. We got, oh, look, we passed the 1,500 backer mark, which is great. We were close to it last night. I think we were at $14.99. So a couple of you back today. So, yes, we'll be shipping it out in early January. The books might actually be done now, so I could get a book any moment now, which obviously I'll be showing you the book on stream just to show you that all of your hard fought waiting paid off. So, and I'm going to try to send out, obviously some of you backed immediately 3 years ago when we actually launched the comic campaign. So I will be looking at the people who've obviously been waiting the longest and probably ship those out first. So I'm going to try to be mindful of those of you who have persevered as long as you did. So
nice.
I know, look, I've backed a bunch of these campaigns for a bunch of other content creators on YouTube. And it is kind of annoying when you back, you're one of the first backers and other people are talking about, oh yeah, I got my book. And you're like, holy shit. I backed on day one and I still haven't got my book yet. So
right.
That's kind of annoying.
Okay. Buy the book. I sent you 2 pictures of Kash Patel. You want to bring them up?
Oh no. Are you going after Kash Patel now?
Or we're going to talk about Kash. We're going to talk about Kash, who again is the simulation winking at us. Seems to be very money focused. But so let's go. I'm gonna give you some interesting background here. So did you know, Adam? Okay, so Trump wants to appoint Kash Patel to be the director of the FBI. Now,
oh my God, this picture, Sitch, what are you doing?
You like the wide-eyed picture?
I mean, I want you guys to know, Sitch picked this picture.
You know what's funny? You want to know what's real funny? That's the official, like, that picture.
No way.
Wait. Listen.
This is like his official government picture.
This is his official U.S. Department of Defense picture. All right. So I'm only choosing what the government has chosen or what he gave the government. All right.
This looks like a fucking mugshot. What?
It looks like he's got a lazy eye or something. It's pretty funny.
This looks like the picture you take right after you're on To Catch a Predator. I mean, what the fuck?
It's the official defense. This is why this is a real reason Kash wants to take out the deep state. He's mad that they chose this picture.
Probably. Look,
right.
I'm on it now. I'm actually on his side. I think they got it coming.
Look at the flags in the background. This looks like this was like an official picture for like he knew this was for like the government when he took the picture. He's got a little like American flag with it looks like a White House lapel.
What if the first person that he investigates is the person that took this photo?
The photographer.
He just jumps to the chase. He's like, fuck that guy.
We need to open an investigation into the photographer who took this picture.
Yeah. Look.
There you go.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
I'm
so glad you sent me the picture.
What you don't know is he just sneezed, and this is like the aftermath of him sneezing. And he's like, "Can we take another picture?" He's like, "No, sorry. Each picture cost the government $1,000." You can only take one.
Talk about government waste, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Uh,
Okay. So wait, before we get to the cash, here's the interesting background. All right. So I don't know if you know this. So the FBI director has a 10-year term. Okay.
mhm.
And in the entire history, supposedly the entire history of the FBI, only two FBI directors have ever been fired. And this is important because there's still an FBI director that he would not, his 10-year limit wouldn't be over until 2027. So Trump would have to fire or force them to resign, essentially, if he wants Kash Patel to be the head of the FBI. And that guy is named Christopher Wray. Christopher
So
Wray,
how long has he served?
so far he served 7 years, so he's got 3 more
Okay,
years.
I gotcha.
Christopher Wray was put in place by Donald Trump in
Oh
2017.
wow. Well, he could
So
ask him to step down then.
So Trump would have to ask down his own appointed FBI director to step down. But here's the interesting thing. In the entire history of the FBI, only twice has an FBI director been fired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first one was a guy named William Sessions, and he was fired in 1992 by Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the old arcade games back in the 90s, like when you would go to like play them, this like the FBI seal would come up and it would say winners don't do drugs.
I
Do you
do
remember this?
remember that in the super pixelated FBI symbol.
Yes, yes. That was because of none other than William Sessions. He was the man behind the winners don't do drugs in the arcade.
We have to get this in front of the kids. How do we do
Right,
that?
right.
Video games.
Now here's an interesting wrinkle too. William
Isn't it more
Sessions,
fun to do drugs and video games though? I mean, that's
that's
a stellar
terrible.
combination to be
How dare
honest with you.
you even suggest such a thing? Okay.
What? You know you have. Get out of here.
No, I don't do drugs.
Okay. Lame.
Wow, terrible. Look, I'll even send you the picture if you want to bring it up of the
Of you
little.
doing drugs and playing video
No, of
games?
the arcade
No, I
seal.
can't bring that up.
The arcade seal, you bastard.
I can't bring that up.
Okay. So anyway, but oh, here's another interesting wrinkle. So Sessions was fired because of none other than our good friend of the show, Bill Barr.
Right.
Bill Barr was
Look, that's why people think you're a Fed. You're
there. You
calling Bill
go, because I'm
Barr
best
a
friends with
friend
Bill
of the
Barr.
show.
Exactly. So Bill Barr had been investigating Sessions and found that Sessions had used FBI planes at government expense to fly to visit his daughter for
Hmm.
personal, just a personal visit on several occasions, and had used government money to install home security systems in his house.
Oh,
Wow, look at
based.
that. Isn't it funny? Like you're like, oh, that's so cute. That like something like that would constitute corruption to be fired from a position back in the 90s. It seems
Hmm.
like nothing today. Like, oh, he just used government money to fly to visit his daughter. Like, who cares? That's like
Right.
a Monday. So apparently, Clinton gave him a chance to resign after these accusations came out. He refused, thinking that or claiming that he was innocent of them or that they were fine, and Clinton fired him. The only other FBI director to be fired was none other than James Comey by Donald
Wow.
Trump.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he was fired Comey because he had asked Comey several times to end the Russia investigation and other various investigations into Donald Trump. And no, he asked him to end the investigation to Flynn. That was it. And he refused. And he refused to, quote, pledge loyalty to Trump, as Comey says. And so Trump fired Comey, a lifelong Republican. So that means that if Trump fires Wray, that of the 3 people that have only ever been fired for FBI director, Trump would be responsible for 2 of them.
2 out of 3. That's not
There
bad.
you go.
Winning.
Okay. So Kash Patel, very weird guy. I think there's very little chance that he's going to get confirmed, I should say. And here's the reason. Now, this has been reported, but it's weird because I feel like this should be the top reason. And I think in his confirmation hearing, if he doesn't get the Gates treatment where they quietly tell him to pull out because they're not going to confirm him,
Pull out.
pull out. Yeah. This is the reason I think that will be cited. The media hasn't been pushing this, but to me, this is the most egregious thing, most obviously egregious thing that he's done, or would show that he should not be really in any high level government position, or really in any high level position of anything ever. So when he was in the first Trump administration, Patel kind of bounced around various positions. And at one point, he was promoted to be the senior director for counterterrorism in the National Security Council. Okay.
Mhm. Wow.
And so while he was in that position, this was October 31st, 2020. There was a hostage rescue mission in Nigeria. Okay, that was going to take place.
Mhm.
Now, the reason for this was that
Nigeria, how's that spelled?
quiet, shut your mouth. Okay. Now, what happened was there's a guy named Philip Walton who was a missionary's son who had been kidnapped in, I think he was actually kidnapped in Niger, not Nigeria. Okay. Calm down.
Oh my God.
Calm down.
Look, too far. Come
I
on, my
know.
joke was subtle.
I know. No, he was kidnapped in the country of Niger. Okay.
It's
And they were,
Niger, but anyway.
yes, Niger. Okay. And he was sent, they were going to send SEAL Team 6. Okay. The SEAL Team 6, right? The
Uh-huh.
people that killed Osama bin Laden.
Right.
Or probably not the same people, but like the same group of
I mean,
organizations.
it probably was.
No, it was 2020, so it was sometime after.
Okay.
But they're going to send the SEAL Team 6 to save the son of a missionary who was kidnapped. So Trump signs off on the mission to have SEAL Team 6 rescue Philip Walton's son, or I'm sorry, to rescue Philip Walton. And Trump's Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, also signs off on the mission. Now, he asks Patel, he says, do we have permission? You need to go and find out. We need to get permission from the Nigerian government to fly over their airspace. So they don't like shoot
Why?
us or think of something crazy, right?
Do they have an Air Force or anything? Do we really have to worry about that?
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm assuming
Right.
they got something. I'm assuming that there's a prince somewhere that has an Air Force. Okay,
Okay.
that's been fully funded. But no, so they had to go get permission,
Right.
from the government, obviously, because you want to maintain relations with these
Yeah,
countries.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. You have to have permission to fly over the country, especially if you're engaged in some military operation, even if it's on their
Right.
border.
Yes. We didn't
And
with
so,
Pakistan and Osama bin Laden, but whatever.
right. Well, fuck Pakistan. But anyway, so Patel he tells Mark Esper, okay, he
Mhm.
says, oh, yeah, I talked to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and we totally got the airspace clearance from Nigeria. Like it's all good. Go ahead with the mission. Okay.
No
So they
way.
go,
No
so they,
way.
so
And
wait,
they
okay. So
oh
listen.
shit.
Okay.
I
So
see where this is going.
okay. So they go ahead with the mission. So a few hours later, they scramble the jets. They send SEAL Team 6 out there.
SEAL
Right.
Team 6 in the air.
Right. So they're literally in the SEAL Team 6 is on the plane. They're flying. Oh, they're in the air. They're about to land. They're
Oh
not going to land.
shit.
They're going to parachute out. Okay. They're
No.
going to parachute.
Oh my
They're going to
god.
parachute, out, to go rescue this hostage. Right. And like, I don't know, this seems like it was like minutes or maybe it was like, 20 minutes before they get to the target area that they're going to parachute out. Someone finds out, what the fuck? Kash Patel just lied. He just made this up. No one ever told the Nigerian government we are doing this whatsoever.
So they're like, what the fuck? We're being invaded by America.
Yeah, they're like, wait, what the fuck's happening here? And so all of a sudden, so the U.S. government starts scrambling around. They have to order the SEAL Team 6 to not continue the mission.
This is hilarious.
It's hilarious and fucked up. They have to circle the area without actually going into the airspace because they don't actually have permission.
Okay, so they aren't in the airspace yet. I'd
Yeah,
envision them already in the airspace. Like,
well, I
people
don't. Yeah, I
looking
don't
up,
know.
seeing U.S.
Right.
helicopters or
They're
whatever.
like, what's happening? Oh my god, the U.S. are invading us.
There's 2 Blackhawks over my house.
Exactly. Right. So get this. SEAL Team 6 has to spend 45 minutes. Okay, they're on this like some dangerous rescue mission. Obviously you want the element of surprise too. They have to circle the air for 45 minutes.
Wow.
Because Kash Patel, for no fucking reason, just randomly lied and said the Nigerian government had been informed. They gave permission to this. Meanwhile, while still going on, Mike Pompeo's like, what the fuck? I never had a conversation with Kash Patel about this. They have to scramble around and they have to go, contact the Nigerian government and get permission. And it takes 45 minutes. Eventually, they're able to get permission. They're able to do the mission. And fortunately, they're able to save the hostage and kill the bad people. And everything ends up
luckily
going okay.
for Kash Patel, right? Obviously,
Yes.
if they would have crashed and died.
Right. It would not. Yeah, he would be I wonder if he actually, he probably, you're right. If that mission had gone sour, he probably would have gone to jail for that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I
because
just
that's,
they usually put limited amount of fuel to do these things. I'm like, they can circle for 45 minutes just because some dude
I
lied.
guess so.
That's
I guess
crazy
so. Yeah. So, oh no, also it says, yeah, they only had 15 minutes left before the operational window closed,
because of
and
the
they're
fuel, probably.
maybe it's because of fuel. Yeah, and they were
Yeah.
finally able to get the go ahead, and so they were able to do it.
Oh,
So,
that's
uh,
uncomfortable.
so Tony Tata, he's now retired. He was a 1-star general at the time, who was the person that Patel had told him that he had permission when he
Hmm.
didn't. He just made this up. He recounted to the Atlantic after this incident that he raged at Patel afterwards over the lie, yelling at
Oh, I
Patel.
bet.
Yes. He said, quote, "You could have got these guys killed." And he says Patel's response was, "If nobody got hurt, who the fuck cares?"
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's just a level of incompetence.
Yes. Well, it's
Yeah.
weird. It's like beyond incompetence. It's like why would you lie about
Yeah,
something like that?
whatever happened? Like what was why did he lie?
No one knows. He
He,
he denies lying about it, even though everyone around him and involved
oh
says he
no. He's going the
100% lied
Jesse
about it.
Smollett route.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
never did it, like all the evidence. What do you mean, dude? We got you on camera.
right, right. So it's a very weird story. Every single person involved with it, Mark Esper, like literally everyone involved with it was like, yeah, no, Cash just 100% lied, and we have no clue why he did this. So there's no, so no one knows why he lied about it. What the fuck the purpose of doing that was? So it was an
This is scary.
incompetence,
That's
but
scary.
so that's the real reason. So that alone, he's not gonna get confirmed because of that, because that's just so damaging, and it's not even like a political thing
Yeah, this story
whatsoever.
is insane.
Yeah.
This story is insane.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because to
Okay.
me, that should be like the top story. Like it's being reported on, but that should be the top, like the head of the headline for every story is that story. It's just so crazy. So,
Yeah, okay.
okay. So then other things about Cash Patel make him crazy or that are fun, I should say, is so he said to Steve, no, we had this conversation about, is Trump going to go after people with lawfare or is he going to be the unity guy? So Cash Patel said on Steve Bannon's show not long ago, he said, quote, "We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in the government, but in the media. We're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens and who helped Joe Biden rig the presidential election. We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally or civilly. We'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice." So that might be why
Yeah.
Trump wanted him to be the head of the FBI.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it seems like he's a guy who has nothing to lose, so
Right.
he doesn't have his own political aspirations to get in the way.
Well, he also sells a bunch of merchandise, which is kind of interesting. Cash sells his own brand of wine. Did you know that? He has
Oh,
Cash Patel wine. It costs $233 for a six pack of wine.
hmm.
Is that a lot for wine? I'm not a wine guy. I don't know if that's a
Is
lot
it
or
a
not.
bottle of wine or is it like wine coolers?
I don't know. It
Like
says
a
two
six
hundred thirty-three
pack?
dollars for a six pack of wine. So
It's kind of
he
weird
also
selling wine in a six pack.
he also sells. I don't know if it's you can see in the picture. He sells that scarf he's wearing, the fart with fight with cash scarves,
Hmm.
and you can kind of see at the bottom of it. It's got it has a Punisher logo, but with like
Oh,
the
look
Trump
at
hair
that.
on it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely some copyright
I was
infringement
gonna. Yeah,
there.
I wonder.
Some
I was like, I'm
trademark
surprised it's
infringement.
got like a message from Marvel. Like, excuse me. He also sells tank tops, t-shirts, polos, hoodies, $250 steel wall art, all with some of his branding, the Cash Patel branding on it.
Hmm.
He works. Oh, I think it's funny too that his name is Cash, and he seems to be so focused on making cash. But that's another thing. He also all his merchandise, like any money that his merchandise makes, it goes to a nonprofit called the Cash Foundation,
Right.
which I thought was funny. He's like the Clintons have a Clinton Foundation. Let's have the Cash Foundation, and it has made $1.2 million so far.
Yeah, so many of these are scams, right?
I know.
Because they pay people salaries. It's like, oh, we can't make a profit, so we have to spend all that money on
On
salaries.
salaries, yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's
Uh,
just
He
So
wrote
fake.
he wrote a trilogy of children's books called The Plot Against the King, where he is a wizard named Kash who's sent out to save King Donald from the sinister machinations of Hillary Clinton and the Shifty Knight.
You know Trump has read that. That's
Of
why he
course,
got the nomination.
of course.
He's like, this is true literature. I love this.
Yes. And you could buy a set of matching playing cards that has all like the characters on it.
Oh,
He worked as a consultant for True Social, netting him a cool $130,000. He's partnered with a payment processor that gives credit cards and is a payment platform for patriots called
hmm.
Reverie Payments. And also, listen, if you want to have a patriotic cell phone service, you can pay Kash Patel for Patriot Mobile, and you can get a patriotic cell phone service. He also
Yeah.
promoted, as I said earlier, he promoted, I don't know if he makes money with this or he just promoted it. He promoted vaccine reversal pills. Now, this is very interesting because I was like, what the hell is a vaccine reversal pill? Okay. Is this
You don't instantly know what that is?
well, I mean I could guess, right? It's supposed to like undo the vaccine or something. So
Yeah. Yeah, obviously.
there's this company called Warrior Essentials. Okay. And you need to buy three things. Okay. You need to buy three supplements. I should actually see how much they are. Okay. One of them is $50, one of them is $85, and one of them is $99.
Hmm.
Oh no, I'm sorry. If you buy all three, it's $99. And you can buy all three. It's no covidium. Do you like that? No covidium. That's what it's
Oh,
called.
that's a good name for it. Yeah, definitely.
Natto repair and restore a gene. Now, this is very funny. So, what this is supposed to do, what these supplements are supposed to do, is it says they're supposed to eliminate the spike protein that the mRNA vaccine, gave you. Right.
Convenient.
Yes, right. And so I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And I looked at the frequently asked questions for this supplement, and it
Hmm.
says, how do I know when the spike is gone? Oh, that's a good question, right? How do you know like when you can stop taking the supplement? This is the answer the website says. Measuring spike proteins is not an easy thing to do, but even if it was, the issue is more complicated than that. There's an ongoing risk of being exposed to more spike for the foreseeable future. Between new infections, evolving strains, and vaccines causing shedding, once cleared from your body, no covidium can help to keep the spike from regaining a foothold.
Right. So you have to take it always. What
So there's
is
no way to know if it's actually working, and you have to take it forever.
what I mean, what is actually in this stuff?
That's a good question.
Is it water?
I know I could tell you.
Hopefully it's not hopefully it's not some dangerous poison, right? It's not
Mhm.
arsenic.
What are the ingredients in no covidium? Okay, let's see. The ingredients are listed above, but they break down into a few distinct categories. Polyamines are the driving force that helps push the body into autophagy.
Mhm.
That's what it says.
No. What was that again? Auto
Autophagy.
what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe it's pronounced autophagy. That would make more sense.
Auto what?
Phagy. These are found in many foods and also in all living organisms. Our formula is designed to give a boost of externally supplied polyamines, which also work to turn your body into a polyamine producing gigafactory.
Oh, wow. Just what I wanted. My
There you
own
go.
personal
You
gigafactory.
want you want your body to be a gigafactory?
Sure.
There you go.
Do I get a Tesla at the end of this?
You
Does my
should.
body produce a Tesla?
You should. I'm trying to see where it said the ingredients are above, but I don't. I'm curious. I don't see them listed. Anyway, so he was promoting that. I don't know if he was making money from that, but I thought it was pretty
Oh,
funny.
this guy sounds like a total hustler, so.
He does. He does. Yeah. Um, let's see. There's something else here. Oh, so this is interesting too. This is probably also why Trump chose him. So Kash Patel claimed to Breitbart. This is when all like the Trump documents stuff was going on. Kash
Mhm.
Patel claimed to Breitbart News that he personally witnessed Donald Trump declassify the documents.
Oh my
Okay.
God. He's a witness in the documents case.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I was just in the office, and Trump was like, I declassify all these documents,
Oh
but
my
that
God. That's
the
so good.
lazy government couldn't get bother to do all the paperwork correctly when Trump
That is
declassified all
so
the
good.
documents, right?
That is so good.
So, but here's what's interesting. So he makes this statement. He says that he's a personal witness that Trump declassified his documents. So guess what?
Mhm.
Someone comes out and says they witnessed someone not committing a crime or witness an action that'd be defense of a federal crime or federal investigation. So obviously the federal government says, would you be willing to testify that you witnessed Donald Trump?
So they did
But
ask him? They
they
asked
did.
him point blank?
And you know what he said?
Nah.
He said, I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
wow. Oh,
But
wow.
then, but then get this. Okay. So, like, okay. The federal government's like, okay, how about this? You testify the grand jury to our questions and we'll give you immunity. And he's like, I'll do it. So Kash Patel testified in a secret grand jury trial under immunity, something related to the documents case that we don't know about. But then
Can
Donald Trump
they
obviously continued to get charged and has only been dropped because of he was, getting becoming
does
president.
that immunity extend to perjury though? I'm not sure.
Well, he didn't perjure himself because he just said he told Breitbart News. They're not
Right.
elite,
No,
so
but
it's
I'm
not
saying,
perjury.
look, if he goes in and says, I witnessed all this stuff, but none of that happened, that's perjury, right? Lying under oath.
It would depend how the immunity, I guess, is worded.
Yeah.
So, but
Because,
the
like, what's the point of bringing someone in and granting them immunity and just saying that immunity extends to just lying to us? Tell us whatever you want.
right.
Then you're
Well, that's it.
basically not even under oath.
Exactly. But well, no, but see, that's the interesting thing is that when he testified to the grand jury, he is under oath and he was
Yeah, I
granted
know.
immunity to do the action.
Look, he
And
didn't
so
witness any of this shit.
I know. So, but anyway, but we don't know what he testified, but the strong implication is that he acknowledged to the grand jury that he, in fact, did not witness Donald Trump declassify anything. So
Oh, okay. So he came clean.
that's
He's like,
well,
I was
that's
just
the
lying.
implication. We don't know what exactly he said, but that seems to be the implication. So, which I thought was pretty funny.
What if he said, what if he said he witnessed it in a dream?
That would be a pretty Chad move, right? Like God gave me
I
a
did witness.
vision of
I did
Donald Trump
witness
to
it.
classify the documents.
I did
Okay,
witness it, but it was in
right.
a dream.
Mm.
Well, Cash, thank you for coming in. Thank
Now,
you for testifying.
now when he first was involved with like getting on the National Security
Hmm.
Council under Trump, a former administration official told this journalist that for the first few days that Patel was fixated on trying to get FaceTime with Trump and that he was so fixated on this that he had a specific like script that he was going to tell Trump and that everyone knew like he would go and just tell everyone that he was going to say the script. So like you could go to anyone and ask him, "Oh, do you know what Kash Patel's script is that he's going to say when he meets Trump?" And then he could just recite it for you.
Really? Wow.
And the script was, "Mr. President, the deep state is out to get you, and I'm going to save you from it."
Wow.
So there you go.
What a simp.
What a simp. Yeah.
Yeah, evidently there was a lot of this, a lot of people around Trump that just basically wanted to be close to him, close to power.
I'm sure it's true
But
with
I
every
think
like
Trump loves that.
administration.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. But
Oh, and then
that would just make me, that would weird me out. Bunch of
right.
weirdos running around trying to be close to you.
Isn't it
Come
weird?
on.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but if you have, a certain type of person, you like it, I guess.
Certain type of person,
Yeah.
like a narcissist.
Maybe.
I guess
And then
I'm not a
also
narcissist.
a longtime Trump advisor said that oh, this is kind of funny. He said he had been in Patel's presence more than once where Kash Patel had claimed to another person that he had given the order for U.S. forces to move in and kill the ISIS leader, Abu al-Baghdadi. To
This
which,
is just something he made up.
yeah, to which by his own admission, Patel was not even in the situation room when that decision was made. So it's just a complete total lie.
Wow.
So listen, I mean, look, that could be anything. Kash Patel's probably at a bar trying to pick up some chick. He's like, "Oh yeah, I was the guy that got him to kill Baghdadi." The woman
Yeah.
is like, "Who?" He's like, "Oh, ISIS, right? Who? You mean the Egyptian god? I really like astrology." Anyway,
It's not bad if he's doing it in a bar just to pick up some chick,
right?
obviously. So, I mean, it's bad, but it's not,
Nah, it's super bad.
it's going
It
to,
doesn't
it's
say the
not really going
context
to
of
affect anyone other than the
no.
chick that he's trying to pick up.
Right. So yeah, I think there's very little. Kash Patel seems like. You were saying that you heard him. He seemed like he was on the QAnon train or
Yeah, I
something.
saw some clips of him talking about QAnon in ways that were I thought uncomfortable for me as a viewer.
Like I
So,
said, it made you uncomfortable, huh?
well, it seemed like like he's a QAnon believer. Look,
Interesting.
I mean, I don't. I think QAnon obviously is like a phenomenon, but I don't think the narrative around QAnon is remotely true or accurate or anything like that. That there's some high level government actor that's sharing information with the public.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but
No,
it seems like Kash Patel believes that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name. If some chat remembers, there was that guy. There's like this documentary on the guy
Right.
who they thought was Q. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know if it was
But I'm sure
ever
more than
like,
one person has
yes,
posed as Q,
right.
and people have looked at various media and said, "Oh, this is like some sort of evidence, some message from Q,"
Hmm.
where it's not, it's subjective in the media. It's
Right,
not
right,
necessarily, nobody was planning on being a Q drop, but some
right,
QAnon person picked it out. So
right. I mean, no, I'm assuming I haven't really heard anyone talk about Q in a long time. I'm assuming because everyone knows it was like just so debunked into bullshit land
there
that
was a
no one
while
believes
when
Q anymore.
everyone thought anyone on the right was like a QAnon person.
Right.
I think it was around the QAnon shaman, right? Because of January 6th.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when the Q stuff kind of got fell out of favor exactly. But I remember something to do with like the 8chan guy. So
We're not big Q supporters,
I
or
don't know. Yeah.
we don't follow it much.
Hmm.
Look
I was
at
trying to
this.
what
What is that
Ron
denomination?
Watkins, that was the guy.
Oh,
That was the Q guy. Yeah, I saw that. It was interesting. Seemed like it was confirmed that he was the guy. But anyway, what were you saying?
I was looking at Vile Van Gogh's super chat
Hmm.
being
Oh, Val
in.
Van Gogh, thanks so much for the look at this.
I know
A
that's what I.
hundred and 1,250 P's. He's got the Filipino P's. Look at that.
Yeah, he's in the
Says,
Philippines now, headed to
yeah,
China, right?
right. Now in the Philippines, didn't spend too long in Japan. Wow. Why you're gonna go there? You're gonna spend the least amount of time in the best country. Okay. What's wrong with you?
Thought. Oh, you're not going to continue?
Thought commercially it was going to be like the US, and it is, but cultural differences are enough to warrant a proper trip. Feel bad for shortchanging Japan, but the real target this trip is China. Well, listen, be safe. Okay, be careful.
That's cool. Yeah. Look, he's
Yeah.
even got some of the local tender now.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. Well, thank you. That's very cool. Very cool. William Vance for $50 says if Biden has just done crimes Hunter was convicted for, that's fair. At least we all know it was real. A blanket 11-year for anything else needs to be restricted via legislation. Also, this proves charisma in all but name. He should have to name the crime. I mean, how does this prove charisma at all?
The
And I mean, unless your position is that every single person that Trump pardoned, Steve Bannon, Jared Kushner's father, anyone that he pardoned for January 6th, unless your position is, well, the pardon proves that they're guilty. Then I don't know how you could say that about Hunter or Joe.
You can easily say that. The
Well,
pardon
okay,
proves
you
they're
can say it.
guilty.
I don't
Who
know how you could
cares?
say it and maintain some level of consistency or logic or something.
It proves they're guilty with Trump too.
Oh, okay. There you go. Everyone that's get pardoned is guilty.
Everyone is
As
guilty.
long as you're consistent about it, that's fine.
I am consistent.
Okay, that's good.
The yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Spencer Harmon for $20 says, it ain't, quote, it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Mark Twain, my favorite quote right now. So much of the political environment is summed up in this quote. That's true.
Who is that? What was that? Is that
Mark
Spencer? Oh
Twain.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a good Mark Twain quote.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say on the. So on the pardon is in the Constitution though. Like it would have to be a constitutional amendment to change the pardon
The
powers,
change of
right? They
pardon
can't
power.
just change it through legislation.
Well, you're correct. Or the Supreme Court would have to interpret it in some way, I guess, to limit it or something. So
Yeah. I mean that's a tall order.
that
So
could be a tall order.
But of course, anyone who gets pardoned is guilty. So
Obviously,
even though Sitch
obviously.
doesn't buy it,
I listen. That's my new stance. Anyone gets pardoned is guilty automatically.
do
Obviously.
it.
There
Yeah,
you go.
you can
Hang 'em
dance
high.
when the Trump pardons come rolling in.
Right, right.
When Trump pardons Kash Patel for his Q
For
drop.
lying about the Fed, getting the permission to fly in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, NA for $2 says any comment on South Korea declaring martial law. I saw that. I have no comment on it because I don't really know anything about it, why it happened or something. But
South Korea, really? Wow.
yeah, they said that they were
We're
gonna.
definitely gonna have to look into that.
They said they were declaring martial law because of some weird threat in North Korea. And then I now see it says South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol, which sounds like a joke.
Yoon Suk Yeol.
I think it's I think it's
You
Yoon
you
Suk.
you suck, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. South Korean President, you suck, y'all, said in a televised remarks early Wednesday local time that he has withdrawn troops and will lift the martial law he declared just hours earlier.
So it's over already. Okay, that's good.
Apparently, South Korea's legislative body, the National Assembly, quickly gathered late Tuesday and voted to block Yoon's decree. This is the first time in more than 4 decades that martial law has been declared in the country. Look at that.
It was basically like a fire alarm, right?
It was just a
He just
test,
pulled it for a little while.
just to see. You just want to see if it was like everyone was still like working, right? Sometimes you got to like check the system.
Yeah, I agree. You should
I
check it.
think what actually happened was he declared martial law because his wife wouldn't have sex with him because she joined the 2B movement. And she's like, oh, you want to have sex with me? I'm going to declare martial law and make you have sex with me. Boom. Presidential power, baby.
Nice.
He said in his full statement, dear citizens, I declared martial law at 11 o'clock last night with a firm will to save the country against anti-state forces that are trying to paralyze the essential functions of the state, i.e., not having sex with their man, and
Right.
destroy the constitutional order of liberal democracy, i.e., my wife is being a bitch. However, a little while ago, the National Assembly demanded the lifting of martial law, so the troops deployed for martial law affairs were withdrawn. Martial law will be lifted immediately by accepting the National Assembly's request through a state council cabinet meeting. However, although we have immediately convened a state council meeting, as it's still early in the morning and the quorum for resolution has not yet been met, martial law will be lifted as soon as it's reached. However, we request the National Assembly to immediately stop its reckless actions that paralyze the functions of state through repeated impeachment, legislative manipulation, and budget manipulation.
They're trying
Now,
to impeach him.
now that I don't know anything about South Korean politics, but that last line there makes it sound like this is some kind of threat, like
Right.
the martial law was a show of force or something. That's what it makes it sound like. I don't know if that's actually what's going
Makes
on.
it sound like they were trying to impeach him, and he's like, "Fuck you!
Right.
I'm
I
gonna do a
declare martial
martial
law.
law."
Right. I listen. I'm gonna still believe it was his wife when have sex with him. I think that's the actual
Hmm.
reason. So
Probably was.
Ryan Wolf for $5 says Jussie Smollett had his conviction overturned recently. Oh, boo! What is that?
Yeah, that
That's
sucks.
lame. Wow,
Stupid. Obviously,
that's gross.
paid off someone.
Hi, I'm Dave for $5 says did anyone bring up the coup in Korea yet? Great content as always, guys. Thank you. Well, there you go.
We just did. Yeah, we looked into it.
Fondue for $5 says Sitch, I sent you a Magic the Gathering card. I'm curious how you would pronounce it. Shouldn't you send this to Adam?
Oh
Okay,
no! But no,
let's
he
see.
wants you to read it.
Uh, well, okay. It says
Got it.
biophagus, but he wants me to say biophagus. So, yes,
Trying to get us in trouble.
biophagus. Okay, trying to get me in trouble, Fondue. How dare you, meanie? Sion Ari Kale for $10. Thank you. Says as a wine distributor, the price for a case of 6 bottles of wine isn't that odd if the wine is from a known vineyard marker and specific varietals. For example, a Premier Cru Vence Bordeaux. Well,
Isn't that
thank you.
just $30 a bottle? I mean,
I
it doesn't
guess
seem exorbitant.
that seems pretty low, doesn't it? For like a special wine.
I thought so. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, there you go. Listen, you can Cash Patel's here for your cash. Okay, but
that's
he's
a
gonna
reasonable price.
right. He's here for your cash, but it's a reasonable amount of cash. Okay, it's only $30 a bottle.
Might be good. Check
Thought for
into it.
$10 says Adam. What's the over under biting right now on Lauren's kid being Destiny and Lauren's love child? Wahahaha.
The I'm not sure. I mean, Are people giving odds on that type of thing? That's not the type of thing I'd want to bet on because it's not the type of thing I'd want to keep checking in on to see if I'd won.
I don't think I don't think that's any chance of that happening.
Is there a
Of being true.
paternity test in the future or something?
I don't think that was going on. So
Hmm.
I think those DMs would have revealed a lot more if that was the case.
What if
Like, how this is how your son's doing. Yeah, I don't think that's going
what
on.
if Destiny was with Lauren Southern right after he was done sucking off Nick Fuentes and it's actually Nick
Oh,
Fuentes' child?
wow. Oh, like he transferred it?
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually, you want to know what's funny? That's weird and gross.
Is that the fan theory?
No. That's actually a plot line
Mhm.
in
Oh, of
Stephen,
course.
Stephen King's The Dark Tower series.
Oh, really?
Um, yes, there's a scene. This was not in the movie. So I guess it was, I don't remember if it was in the first book or the second book, where the main character Roland has to fuck an invisible succubus
Mhm.
in order so that the other person, I don't remember if it was the kid, has to like he has to like go do something. And there's like a succubus that's like guarding this mystical object or like a portal to another dimension or something. And so the main character has to fuck the succubus to distract it while the character's doing something. And then later, the same thing happens with not a succubus, but an incubus. And so the female character has to fuck the incubus in order to distract the entity, but it turns out it was the same entity and it could change genders. So it transferred the main character's sperm to the woman, and then she births like a demon child.
Wow.
Yeah, Stephen King, baby,
You got to watch out for that.
you gotta watch out for that. And that was a demon child. That was like a spider demon child. So it's pretty gross. She dies when it like pops out of her.
Hmm. Wow.
And she was a black paralyzed lady with multiple personalities. So you're really hitting like all like that's got to be like high level intersectional oppressed, right? You're black and you're paralyzed in a wheelchair and you have multiple personalities and you have a demon baby inside you.
Right. Yeah.
Ultimate oppression.
Did you have arachnophobia?
I don't know if that ever came up.
Because it's a spider demon, so
Yeah.
that would be a rare form of oppression.
That's true. That's true. Stephen King's very crazy. He's a very crazy man.
You should see him on Twitter. Oh my
That's
god.
true. A lot of things start to
He-
make more sense on Twitter the
He's
more you read
even
his books.
crazier.
Right. Yeah.
Does he
Our,
think Donald Trump is a demon?
Donald Trump
Probably.
was the demon baby that came out, the spider demon baby that came
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. M8566 for $10 says, Sitch, how dare you? Trump is going to end corruption in our government. There's no way corrupt individuals can hop on the Trump train and get into government. Clearly, this is your TDS. True. Thank you, M856. Very
Are
true.
they corrupt? Is Cash corrupt? Or is he just a hustler?
Is there a difference?
Being a hustler's fine. There's nothing
Oh,
corrupt about being
really?
a
Okay.
hustler.
Usually, hustler implies you're doing something immoral or illegal for money, right?
Does it?
That's
I just
how I
think it
always
means you have
interpret
a
the term
strong
hustler.
work ethic.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
Uh,
there is a negative connotation in some circles. So,
right. Well, no, you like if you're playing sports and they're like, oh, show me some hustle. Right. That just means like to work. But when someone is a hustler, that's almost always negative. Unless I don't know, the Andrew Tate rebranding of Hustler University or something. But
hustle, hustle, hustle.
Artemis Fowl for 3 months says by court precedent, pardons require implicit acknowledgement of guilt for the crime being pardoned for. Barisma is proven because pardon start date. Proven what though? What does that even mean? Like what, even if hypothetically the worst case scenario for the Hunter Biden Burisma thing is true, is Hunter committing a crime by doing that action? Wouldn't Joe Biden be the one committing a crime, not Hunter, by doing that action? Right?
I wasn't paying attention. What was it?
Okay. If the Burisma thing was true, would Hunter even be doing a crime? Wouldn't Joe Biden would be the one doing a crime, and Obama would be the one doing a crime. But I don't know if Hunter would actually be doing anything illegal, unless it was just a question that he wasn't a registered foreign lobbyist.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not sure about the legality of the blanket pardon. Just, if I did anything wrong, I'm pardoned of it.
Mhm.
I don't know enough about pardons to know. So that's kind of the situation, right? He's just saying anything he did wrong from 2014 to when I'm done being president is
Right.
forgiven.
Mhm.
I looked up the
It
definition of hustler. It's really good.
Mhm.
A shrewd and unscrupulous person who knows how to circumvent difficulties, like getting those that SEAL Team 6 into Nigeria, right?
Mhm.
He's the definition of a hustler. Anyway, yes. Are you looking? I don't know the situation with the pardon, so I'm just saying optically it looks guilty.
I was curious about the guilt thing. So it says this comes from a court case, Burdick versus United States. Justice Joseph McKenna delivered the opinion of the court in favor of Burdick. The court ruled that Burdick was entitled to reject the pardon for a number of reasons, including the implicit admission of guilt and possible objectionable terms contained in a conditional pardon. Burdick was entitled to reject the pardon. He was also entitled to assert his right against self incrimination under the Fifth Amendment. Well, that comes back into play. Although the Supreme Court's opinion states that a pardon carries an imputation of guilt and acceptance of confession of it, this was part of the court's dictum for the case. Whether the acceptance of a pardon constitutes an admission of guilt by the recipient is disputed. In Lawrence versus Commandant in 2021, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that there's no confession, and Lawrence does not otherwise lose his right to petition for habeas corpus relief for his court-martial conviction and sentence. The case was remanded for further action, not inconsistent with the court's opinion. So it's unclear whether that's actually
So there is
true.
a proper way to accept a pardon. You just say, "Well, I'm not guilty, but thank you."
Mhm. Right.
So you're not taking it? No, I'm taking it, but thank but
Mhm. Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. Um.
I mean, well,
Who?
you would do that, right? Why wouldn't you
Yeah. Why
just
would you
take
not
the
accept the?
pardon
I want a blanket pardon.
just in case?
How much do I have to pay Joe Biden to get like a blanket pardon?
That's the
Just in
thing,
case.
because I mean, you know you've done shit wrong. It's just a matter of whether or not they're gonna pursue you on it.
Exactly.
All of us do things wrong all the time, especially
Exactly.
Sitch.
Here's a okay. Wait. Here's a well. Can you get a pardon? You can only get a pardon in the past, right? You can't get like a future pardon. I want a pardon like for the future.
I
You
know.
can do
Wouldn't that
whatever
be
you want.
great?
Yeah. I want the future pardon.
Especially if it's a blanket pardon,
There you
because
go.
you can
Listen, I'm
just
going to
do whatever you
re-upload
want.
all the content I want. You can't listen. I have a pardon. Okay, for the president.
That's like a
Come
get
at
out of
me.
jail free card,
I
basically.
mean, Adams didn't have a pardon, so maybe he'll get in trouble. But Ukala, thanks so much for upgrading your membership to Discipline Equals Freedom.
Wow,
Thank you.
that's awesome.
Right.
Look at that.
Thank you.
We have the best community.
We do. Anyways, anything else?
Is that good? Oh wow. So look, maybe we'll talk about Dark Matter 2525's anti woke video tomorrow,
Yeah, maybe.
unless
Maybe we'll have
some
him on at some point in the future. Talk about it.
major
So,
news breaks or something. So
right,
this was
right.
fun. This was
I'm
great.
sure, listen, I'm sure tomorrow, or I'm sure as soon as we end the stream, Trump will nominate, I don't know, some crazy, some crazier nomination to some crazy position. And that's what we'll have to talk about tomorrow.
You're still optimistic, right? You're still
But
optimistic everything's
if
going to be
not,
great.
I listen, as I said, my position, I want them to just let Trump appoint whoever he wants. Okay. It's got to be, I want all or nothing, baby. I don't want any of this wishy washy middle ground BS. All right.
Look at
Let it
this.
all hang
Sitch
out.
has gone full accelerationist
I'm
here.
full accelerate. Well, I just want to see who is correct. Okay. I want clear, definitive evidence of who is correct about how the next Trump term is going to be.
You wouldn't want that though if it actually led to pain and suffering, right? Like if a nuclear war broke out because of
Well,
this.
obviously, if nuclear war, no, obviously, I don't want nuclear war.
Okay.
But if it's like pain and suffering because they're just going after people and just causing hassles for them, and those people aren't me, then yeah,
A
go
lot
for
of
it. Go crazy.
crying, gnashing of
Right.
teeth. That's
Go
fine.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it.
All right.
Anyway,
I'll take it.
see you guys
Well,
tomorrow.
take care, everyone.
I think I don't know if it ended because my thing crashed, so you're gonna have to end the stream.
No, it's still going.
Okay, I'll wait, I'm back.
Tell me what you were saying about that,
It's over.
that spelling.
Yeah, there you go.